Hi, so I wanted to go over 4 different Umbral builds today, and mainly wanted to go over sort of how modular he is. Very much has sort of a base build that everything sort of builds off of for a lot of different Umbral builds. So first of all, shards, all these use 3 Tower Forged Reds, 2 Tower Forged Purple Crit, and Reds are Strength. So for the first build here, it is a Persistence Omamori. If you don't know, Omamori is a universal damage, quote-unquote, redirection, although it acts more of a block, which means your damage cap with persistence is 500, but with Omamori, it half the time blocks it, so you're taking more like 500 damage every 2 seconds, or 250 damage a second. Um, with persistence, you get it because Triple Umbral has 800 armor. Arcane Blessing brings your health up to 2200, which means with persistence you have about 8 seconds to live before you need to heal. Javelin acts as a separate multiplier than everything else, similar to Eclipse. So this provides a bunch of damage. If you hit like 20 enemies, like in the Simulacrum, you get like 660% extra damage. Chromatic Blade, a must slot, very good on Chroma, and this is for your energy economy. Because you have no shields, you'll always be taking health. So, how are we healing? On the blade here, we have Healing Return. Restores 11 health per status type affecting the target. You're wondering how we're going to get status types. Well, we have Duriga and Tazakor. See, Tazakor has 4 statuses here. With Sinister Reach, this hits enemies up to 32 meters away. With Shred, it goes through enemies. With Chamber, it has multiple little beams. This is the Duriga. Arc Coil is the main thing on this, and Manifold Bond. Duplex Bond is nice just for priming as many enemies as possible. So with Healing Return here, 4 statuses per enemy, 44 health per enemy, you need to melee influence nuke about 12-13 enemies to get your 500 health back. And that's before Omamori. That is much less than you normally get in a normal melee influence nuke, so you are fine there. Omamori also has that 2.22 times health multiplier on your block. So the stronger the enemies are, the more you'll get healed, and that will always be essentially more than 500. So, yeah, that's the build. Again, the main bones of all of these builds are these mods here, with these 2 mods, the Arcanes and the Helmuth being sort of the modular things that you change around, depending on where you want your energy economy from, where you want to buff your blade from, and where you want your survivability from. So, on to the next build is this Evade one. Again, buffing your sword, uh, energy economy, and survivability. So if you didn't know, Exalted Blade is a projectile, and it can hit heads, so it can hit evade. Also, Electric is a project. It can hit heads, and so can gas. So this here is a 6 times. It'll end up being a 6 times heavy spam melee influence. And the trick with it is you have to aim just above their heads. You'll get a vertical beam that will then hit heads and give you evasion. So you want to proc concentrate by pressing 2 or 3, 1, 4. On these guys in, aim above their head. And once you kill them, you have to go up to 16. Up to 21. There we go, just had to pull the combo, and now that above their heads. And we're sort of resistance on this now. Okay, the highest I've seen is I've seen it go up 20 seconds at once from 1 melee influence node. But yeah, you can fairly consistently stay within evade with this build. You get your Magic Force timing everything. Oh, there we go. That was a good amount of evade time there. Yeah, it's very fun. If you want to try it with these things, you can. These augment projectiles too, but I found the vertical heavy slash is the most reliable for getting it. These sort of X slashes don't do as much. Alright, I should say don't hit the head as much. Another thing with the melee Kratos here If you are running Tennokai, make sure you're running Tennokai on this thing as well, because these will apply to your exalted blade. Also, green on here just to apply it. Gladiator, I'm not sure if it applies. It used to. I think they removed that. Although I do know Vigilante set does work on the companion still, so I don't know. Anyways, that is it for this. Just sort of takes advantage of this thing having projectiles to keep evade up and electric rocks being able to hit heads to keep evade up. Fun. Use rolling guard to clean statuses. It can survive in things like EDA, ETA. I'm not sure how high it will actually stand if like an Xmas accidentally hits you, on what level that will one-shot you and it will no longer be viable, but yeah. Next, so this is the build I kind of wanted to go over. What I was saying was modular. Again, these are the bones. For the helmet here, you could put, for this build specifically, Nourish or Evade. Or, sorry, Nourish or Wrathful. I have Wrathful. But if you were to have Nourish, that would be your energy economy. So you wouldn't need something like Equilibrium or Hunter Adrenaline here, really, because you already have good energy for that. One thing I would put here, since I have Wrathful, is, so, gotta think, what do we want to do? For survivability, well, we have triple Umbral. Decent stuff. Let's go for a generic health tank without persistence. So adaptation. It's a good thing with him. Reaper. A new arcane that gives you a lot of armor is Circumvent. Guardian gives you 990. Circumvent gives you 1000. If you're running a mission without enemies with armor, then run Guardian. With this armor, the health and adaptation gives you about 98,000 EHP. That is your survivability. This is your weapon buff. Nourish would also be a weapon buff, but it also acts as energy modifier. And then now let's say this is what we need for energy economy on this. So here's a Wrathful Advanced build. Energy economy, survivability, weapon buff. Say this was Nourish. Well, if that was Nourish, we could go something like, well, say instead of health tanking, we want to do a shield gating. So catalyzing shields, Aegis. We want to buff our weapon more if we want something more than just Nourish, so we get Strike. And then, what else do you want here? I mean, really anything. If you want to put Fast Deflection, just for more survivability, you can. If you want better energy, you could put Equilibrium. If instead of Arcane Strike, you wanted to put Energized here, and you wanted to put Furious Javelin here. Oh, if you subsumed this over something else, then you could put Furious Javelin here, like I have here. Any of that works. I would suggest Fast Deflection here, or honestly, but if we have no way, put Augur Secrets here. There you go. Now you have a way to proc catalyzing shields. And if you wanted, you could swap this for Brief Respite. But yeah, very modular, very much sort of up to what you want to do. That's the fourth build, by the way, is the Nourish with catalyzing shields. Energized. What do I have? Aegis. That's not Aegis. Strike. Aegis, and then probably Fast Deflection, and then just run like Augur mods on whatever your secondary is if you want to run like an Epitaph with Augur. Catalyzing Shield works to where you just need any little bit of shield regen will give you that 1.33 seconds. So if you want to change this out for Brief Respite, that works. If you want to run one Augur mods on here, that works. Yeah. I like the Vesper because it is thematic with Excalibur. And that Arthur uses it. I used to run AX52 on him also. But yeah, that's sort of the basics of just modding in Excal. This is your base. And this can be really whatever. Just the Steel Charge gives you the most mod spots or capacity. And it also works with him, so that's why I have it here, but run that. If you want to do like a companion build that for some reason, if you want to do a weak point thing with evade and do something weird like that, you can. But yeah, that's sort of the basics of this. Oh, then for those last two builds, I would just use this. This for Wrathful, and then I would say do a different subsume. Put Blood Rush here if you're using Nourish, just for the higher crit. Then also, I have my formas messed up on this, but if you can, put Reach instead of String Loaded Blade here. Is there an enemy alive? Oh no, I'm shooting. But yeah. that is the basics of this. So again, so for the Wrathful Advanced build, just in case you want to see it, it was Reaper, Circumvent, and what makes the builds very easy to remember also, because just gotta remember, well, what do I need? Survivability, energy, that's a weapon buff. I'm done. Yeah. Basically, whatever you go look through this own, test different things, see which you like the most of like these different survivability options, which combination you like most. Maybe you like Equilibrium better here instead of Hunter Adrenaline, you want to form it. Maybe you want like Hunter Adrenaline here better. No, it's up to you. Thing to remember for Persistence and Wrath also is that if you want to run, instead of the Doriga, Persistence, run the Doriga with this, just to get the higher health back. But for the generic sort of health tanking one here, you can run a Panzer with Hunter Recovery to heal yourself up through that. And that combined with Reaper should be enough health to keep you up. As long as you keep getting kills moving around and not just AFK. Also good to remember, Circumvent gives you 1,000 armor, also gives you a Memori, also gives you Overguard, also gives you max shields. So this can be very good for just keeping you alive on top of the armor it gives you. And then, yeah, again, for for Corpus missions, Infested missions, what are they called? The Infested missions, both types of them, use Guardian instead. 100 less armor, but those guys don't have armor that you can take with Circumvent anyways. Especially for Infested missions, they don't even have shields you can take. You would just be able to take the Overguard, so your Guardian. Yeah, that is enough rambling. Thank you for watching.